Welcome back to another episode of Overexposed, where we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, and that's new film cameras on the horizon. You thought with the release of the Pentax 17 and with the release of the Rollei 35F on the horizon that, after all those years of drought, no film cameras on the horizon, that we may be done for a while. But you'd be wrong, because I've scoured the internet and I found 3 upcoming film cameras that we still have plenty reason to be excited about. So stick around with me to the end, where we'll talk about the one that I'm the most excited for. The first film camera that I'm going to talk about, and this is one that I only became aware of just a few months ago, which is the Widelux reimagining, which is a combination between Jeff Bridges and Silvergrain classics. And let's talk a little bit about what we know about that camera. So the story goes something like this. Famous actor, popular from lots of movies, lots of different TV shows, Jeff Bridges, his wife, as a belated wedding gift, gave him a copy of the Widelux camera. After shooting it for a while, he concluded that he rather liked it. His wife, being a professional photographer in some capacity, they both decided that it would be a really cool thing to try to get the Widelux camera brought back to life. So they ended up looking for a partner, and they found Silvergrain Classics. So let's talk just a little bit about what the Widelux actually is. The Widelux is a rotating lens style of camera, which means basically the lens spins around a fixed axis, and you can watch that in some of these clips I'm showing. Unlike the X-Pan, which projects against a flat film plane, the Widelux's film plane is actually curved. You could see that with the curved back of the camera. This can produce some very interesting effects, particularly if your camera isn't perfectly level. That being said, the lenses that were featured on the Widelux cameras are known to be really sharp, and in the right hands, they can generate really good images. And here's everything we know about the new iteration of the Widelux camera, and this comes from the Silvergrain Classics website. And they state this, that as owners of the original Widelux models know, they're rather temperamental, and this is due to the manufacturing methods used by the small businesses in Japan at the time. The new camera will be manufactured to reliably high quality and consistency standards. We will also have dedicated service and maintenance, letting us train much needed film camera technicians in Europe. So this is all really good news. Tight tolerances, high build quality, repairability, technicians trained to work on these cameras, all those are wins in my book. They also go on to state that there's the aim to not use any plastics in the construction of the camera. They want this camera to be environmentally conscious. And again, for my part, that's really exciting. Ultra high build quality, durability, awesome. And I'm going to show you some images, and these are the images that have been released by Silvergrain Classics. They state that they're already in the prototyping phase, and this would not be possible without the investment and continuous involvement of Jeff and Susan Bridges, is who they're talking about there, and the many hours of work by us here in Germany. But rather keeping the project to ourselves, the concept has always been to include film photography community in the process of bringing the camera back to life. We hope to bring new enthusiasts to film too, and we'll be updating the blog regularly with information and progress reports. Further down the road, we plan to launch a crowdfunding initiative, which will give everyone a closer look at the new camera and a chance to get one of the first units that we produce. And we'll be sharing the most complete updates in our print magazine. And I guess stay tuned to Silvergrain Classics, and it sounds like look for a Kickstarter at some point in the future, and that's where we'll be able to find the latest updates on the camera. So really exciting stuff. What is there to say about a Widelux camera? I think most of us in the film photography community, we love those X-Pan images, those ultra-wide, cinematic, landscape-style cameras. The notion that we may end up with a 35mm panoramic camera that we can buy new with really high build quality and repairability, man, all that's really exciting. That camera ends up seeing the light of day. That's going to be one of the most exciting projects for me in the future. But speaking of crowdfunding initiatives and Kickstarter, there's the Film Never Die Nana. And you don't need me to point out that there are a ton of plastic point-and-shoot 35mm cameras on the market. They're a dime a dozen, right? There's probably 30 or 40 of these things out there. But what if you want something just a little more premium? So Film Never Die, which is a company from Australia, they've repackaged some film, and now they're creating their own point-and-shoot camera. So here's what they've got to say about the Nana. After decades of experience in the film camera industry, we discovered a gap in the market for a simple-to-use, quality, affordable point-and-shoot film camera that looks as good as the images it captures, something uncomplicated, without all the fuss of a manual film camera. The stylish way to make capturing the light as simple as possible. But I guess the same could be said for almost any segment of the film camera market these days, but yes, there's certainly not a high-quality premium point-and-shoot camera on the market. So this is something new that we might have access to. So perhaps there will be a market out there for this thing. I know people love shooting those point-and-shoot cameras. There wouldn't be a bazillion of them on the market if people didn't love shooting them. So a more premium option? Okay. So here's what they've got to say about the ways that their camera is going to distinguish itself from the other options on the point-and-shoot front. And it starts with the premium metal body. They say that the sleek metal housing is inspired by the Contax T2, a durable and easily recyclable outer, making the Nana camera more environmentally sustainable than its plastic and non-recyclable counterparts. Having high build quality, a camera that's going to stand up to some knocks, last more than 1 year of sustained use, all those are good things. They also go on to point out that it's going to have simple motorized operation. And let me get mine. So here's the lomography example of a simple use point and shoot camera, and you can hear. Now, is having to manually wind your film camera the end of the world? No. And in fact, some folks may actually enjoy the tangible mechanical process of advancing to the next frame. But if you're going for a camera that's really simple, really easy to use, having automatic motorized functionality inside the camera is a good way to get there. They also tout crystal clear optics. And I'm just going to go on record as saying I don't know what that means. All these cameras, and you can look at the lomography that I've got here in my hand, they come with plasticky lenses, right? The lenses are not glass. They're saying this camera's got crystal clear optics. That remains to be seen. I think if this were going to be a camera with glass lens elements, they would be touting that right here in the description. So I think this really tells us more about what the camera's not going to be than what it's going to be. So probably plastic lens elements. That's okay for what this camera is, but for the price that they're going to be asking, and we're going to get to that in just a second, maybe it's not such a good thing. The film format is 35mm. Contrast that with the half frame of the 17. You are getting a full frame image here. The lens is going to be a 31mm f11 fixed lens. Like we said, it's similar to the other point and shoots that's already on the market. It's fixed lens, thus fixed focus. No focusing the thing. It's got a fixed shutter speed as well, 1/125th of a second. So if you wanted some other shutter speed, you got to go somewhere else. The focus on the camera, like I just pointed out, is focus free, but they do say some weird stuff about it. They're working on a dual focus mode with an additional lens element on a 30mm thread. I don't know what that means, but it sounds kind of cool. The camera's also going to have a red eye reduction system, which as a blue-eyed boy, that makes me really happy. It's going to run on a single AA battery. It's going to have a sturdy front metal casing, as we've already talked about, and it's going to weigh about 300 grams. The camera, they announced the Kickstarter. It was going for about $200 on the Kickstarter. That's over now, and they're saying that the retail version of this camera is going to go for about $300, $350 when it finally goes on sale permanently. But the camera did get fully funded, and it stands to reason that we're going to be able to buy more of these in the future. So really exciting. People just love these things. Take a look at the views on Bon C's channel. He gets tons of views when he makes tutorials about how to use these little things. So it stands to reason, to me at least, that somebody may want a little better one. And last but not least on the list is talk of a new Pentax camera. So we got the Pentax 17 just recently. Lots of folks already have them in hand. You're able to buy them from online photo retailers, at least for right now. There is some talk that they may be back ordered soon, but we've got the 17 in hand, so really cool. When there was the announcement of the Pentax film photography project, it wasn't just one camera. It was actually a series of new film cameras. And there have been rumors all around the industry that the next camera to be on deck for Pentax is a premium point and shoot. I don't think it requires much thinking at all to imagine what that camera may end up looking like. One of the most famous point and shoot cameras in the world, one of the most popular premium point and shoot cameras of all time, the Ricoh GR. If Pentax wants to be successful with their revitalization of their film photography market, it stands to reason that they would want to make a new 35mm film camera based on the GR. And consider the fact that lots of the components and lots of the R&D that have went into perfecting the Ricoh GR already exist. Lots of the components already exist. Lots of the engineering already exists. You don't have to design a new lens, one of the most complex and difficult parts of manufacturing a new camera. You don't have to design a new motor system to make the lens go in and out. You don't have to design a new flash. All this stuff already exists, at least to me, that the next camera should look a lot like the Ricoh GR. So we've got rumors all over the place that Pentax will have another camera following behind the 17. That would be a 35mm premium point and shoot camera. That will be super, super sick. So those are three of the most interesting film cameras that I know that are on the horizon. Let me know in the comments which of these three that you're the most excited about. If you like learning about new film cameras that are on the horizon, take a look at this video that I recently made about the Rollei 35AF. It's currently the apple of my photographic eye and probably the camera that I'm going to take home from the bar soon. But as always, guys, thanks for watching.